Okay. Good evening. My name is Tom Easterly. I'm the current president of the Artisan Club Condominium Association, and I'd like to call this board meeting to order. And we'll start with a roll call of the people on Zoom.
Arlene Feuerberg Isaacs, former president of this association.
Neil Plug, director.
Okay, and
Nancy Stryker, secretary.
And Ray Bakes, vice president.
I already did me, so we're all here. Oh, and Denise is here. Denise Anderson, our manager. We had an agenda. Do we want to adopt it, or are there any proposed changes?
We need proof of notice of the meeting.
I'm sorry, what?
Did you give proof of notice of the meeting?
Oh, no, I didn't. Good for you. Okay. We all got emails. They're posted in the elevators, and the official post place is at the manager's office. And so all that was done. So we did have proof of notice. Okay, now we're to the
I move we approve the agenda as written.
Okay, any seconds?
I second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Nope. Okay, now we have the minutes of the May 19th meeting. All the board members got copies of the minutes. I know there were some, I think maybe there was a comments made. Anyway, does anybody have any remaining comments on the minutes, or should we approve them?
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from May.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. Now we're to the financial update, and we'll see what happens when I try it. First, I have to make it up. Then I have to come back to Zoom, do shares. No, okay. No. Do this to me. Zoom. Why did my Zoom do? Am I still on Zoom over there?
Yeah. You're still
Okay, this is Zoom. Why can't I share screen? All the it's junk.
there. It's on the screen now.
What
But
is?
he's share it to the.
Oh, it is. Wait, no, but I want
No.
to share it to Zoom. And when I go to Zoom, now we're here. Share. Share this.
We don't have it.
No, still on the,
Share. Maybe I have to push this share.
There we go.
Thank you. It's never easy. I can't see it all. Well, it's okay. I printed out mine. So the good news is our financials are not a problem right now. Our income and expenses are consistent with the budget expectations. I keep telling you each month that we had engineering charges, or actually we had construction charges this year of $833,810.63, which were not in our budget, but we had planned to pay them last year. But since our financials come for what happened in the year that they're made for, it shows up every month, and it makes our numbers look much different than they really are. So we're going to back that out in my report to show you how we're really doing. And we have that generally accepted accounting practice requirement that says principal payments are not an expense. They're a reduction in liability, but our budget says we're spending money on loans. So we'll go to the next page. Oh, why didn't you move? There. So we'll talk about the impact of the Truist loan accounting, which makes things get a lot clearer. We budgeted $73,779.34 a month, which is $368,897 year to date for payments. But under the generally accepted accounting practices, only the interest portion of those payments, which is $155,922 year to date, is shown as an expense. Note one of our financial statement that you all get or can look at says the other $212,975 is a change in the 2076 Truist loan principal paid. It's not a general administrative expense. So what this means is our report that shows that our general administrative spending is $217,177 below budget Once we back out that 212,975, it's $4,202 below budget, which is still better than being over budget, but it's not hundreds of thousands of extra dollars. It's up there. Oh, you have the same problem I do, these little pictures. Here, maybe they'll go, okay. Well, it's better. Here, come over here. Okay, most of it's not there anymore. So 4,202 is the actual general administrative budget underage, but the documents that we're going to go through now don't show that until the end because we have to follow what the financial report was from the bookkeeper, which I don't disagree with, unlike last year. Okay, so our income, I'm sorry, this is our assets. This is the money in our bank. Our operating accounts are 246,738 versus 406,567 last month. That's just spending down for a month. We spend money each month and we get income each quarter. So our cash goes down every month. It will start going up again probably in June, certainly in July, as we get those other assessments in. Our reserve accounts went up by a little more than 30,000. We contribute 30,000 to reserves each month, and then we earn about $2,000 interest. So they're 967, 616. We don't have any more settlement accounts. Our security deposits, which are not our money, there are owners who rents money that we hold in case something goes wrong, are down a little, which means basically one less security deposit is on file right now because something's not rented. So our cash subtotal went down from $1,494,000 to $1,364,000. Our non-cash assets went up substantially because we paid $400,000 plus in prepaid insurance. And by generally accepted accounting practices, you only get 1/12 of that as an expense each month. So it's a non-cash asset. And also we do the same thing with annual elevator, but it's a much smaller number. So our total assets went from $1,974,000 to $1,792,000, which is to be expected until more money comes in. The liabilities and capital. Our liabilities are only, because it is going down, $7,107,000 instead of $7,358,000 last month. Our reserves, now this is, I have to talk to the bookkeeper because these reserves that says 965,086 doesn't include the reserve interest that we earned. I think it's because of the date. The reserve interest wasn't shown here, even though it was shown on the asset side. So that number should really be 967, but it doesn't change any. Negative are now negative $5,314,000 instead of $5,384,000. Our total liabilities, what does that say? Your internet connection is unstable.
It's okay. It just,
Okay. Total liabilities and capital are what we said they were on the other page, $1,792,000. So how much do we owe Truist now? $5,576,233. Remember, we started at $6.5 million. So we're whittling it away each month. In 2 months or less, we'll be below $5.5 million. So you'd say, well, that's still a lot of money, and it absolutely is, but that was the plan, to pay it down. And this month, which I consider to be a great victory, although it's still, we're paying a lot of money in interest, is the first month where we are paying less than $1,000 a day interest. So, it goes down. The more principal you pay, the less interest you pay. We're on the right side of the slope. Okay, flow. Does yours match? Yeah. Cash flow. We got in exactly what we expected to get in from assessments for May, and our actual year to date then through May is $1,258,333 exact.
We lost Tom.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
We couldn't hear you.
oh, How much have you not been able to hear, Arlene? Is it
Uh,
cutting in and out?
Yeah,
It
Okay.
says we have an unstable internet
Yeah,
connection.
push the microphone over towards him.
Good. It's on all the way up, right?
Yeah, try that.
Okay, so we don't have a separate reserve income account. We just pay reserves out of our assessments. Our other income was 6,535. Year to date is 27,194. Our other income is like late fees and some, well, actually all of the different fees from selling a unit, which we budget some of. We budgeted to get 16,833. So we're getting a little more. We're getting about $2,500 or a little over $2,000 a month more than we budgeted. So we're $10,351 ahead on income. So that's good. Income's above budget. And expenses aren't bad. I call these cash flow. They're expenses under the accounting system, but they are cash. That's how we pay them. So I look at the actual budget and variance. So for general administrative, remember it says our variance is 217,000 to the good, but it's really about 4,000 because the loan principal's not in there. The only thing above budget is grounds maintenance. And remember, we had that big frost, and we had to pay. I haven't seen like the new trees or anything. They're not out there, but we had to pay deposits to start the process for them to get in. So we'll have to pay some more out of that. So for the year, it's possible we'll be a little bit over for grounds maintenance. A lot of frost and tree issues, but that's $10,000. Our building repair and maintenance is the other way. It's 91,000 under budget, partially because we didn't want to spend much money in the first part of the year because we needed cash to get through the insurance payment, and partially because of things like we're going to talk about the lightning protection and other things that we don't know what to do about yet. So we have some money to address them if we can figure out what to do, but we don't have something useful to spend it on yet. Our utilities are below budget. I'm surprised at that because last year they were over budget, and the places they're below are electricity, which maybe is related to the rate decreases. There's been some decreases in all our own bills. But also we think that probably more electricity was used for construction than we really were realizing. And the water's down too, and last year the water was over. So we think some of that might be related to construction not using so much water and not breaking so many sprinkler heads off that use water. Our
Tom,
fire.
can I
yeah,
just
go ahead.
can I step in there real quick if you can hear me?
Yes.
Building 4 and building 7 on the bills from January 12th to April, they weren't recording the sewer.
Oh no.
This month you'll see the bills are 19,000.
So that's not
You'll
going to be
see
up.
that. No.
So we may be over next month. Last year we were over. Okay, we'll see what happens.
Just want you to know that.
The fire elevator and car wash, even with all this money that we spent with Dynafire that has annoyed all of us, it's still a little bit under budget for the year, mostly because the elevator hasn't needed as much repairs as we budgeted for. Our reserves, we've contributed 5 months of 30,000 a month, exactly as our budget expected. So our total expenses in May are 187,977. Well, we'll go to actuals 947,506. We expected to spend 1,263,000. So it says we're 316,000 to the good. But remember that 200 and some thousand of that is loan principal payments, which we'll see in a minute. So our total income was 10,000 to the good. Our net income then, before we look at loan payments and things, is 326,000 to the good, but that's what the last page is for. We did have to show on our books the $833,811 of construction spending. As soon as you put that in, our net operating income is minus $500,000 for the year. And that's actually good because it should be minus 833,000. So that variance is 500. We expected a small profit, 11,000. So our actual net operating income's 506,000 because of that number. And then our loan principal paid is 212,975 for the year to date, which is, it's sort of a variance because it doesn't show on our books the way. So if you take those two things out, which this is the numbers I think are really, really countable. We know where this money is. We made 26,405 real dollars in May, which is a very good month, but mostly it's because we didn't spend much on building repairs and maintenance. And our actual for the year is 125,000 to the good. Our budget was 11,000 to the good. So we're 113,000 ahead of budget of all the things that we've done. So we're in good shape. We have money to spend on projects when we figure out if we need them and what they are. We don't know if we have enough, but you won't find that out until we go through the process. Are there any questions? Okay, we decided we needed to approve the financial reports, right?
Yes.
Okay,
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the financial report.
No, second.
okay. All in favor?
Aye.
And I'm trying to unshare now. Let's see. Wait,
Thanks again, Tom, for the double duty. That's all.
now can I unshare by doing this? How do I unshare? I don't want that up there. What if I just delete this? It's still there.
Click share, drop that down. Does it? Right here, drop that red down.
Thought I did.
Can you unshare there? Try clicking share again. What does it do? Oh, click that off.
Yeah, this is why I hate this whole thing. No, I don't want to do that. I don't want to send a link. It should be down here somewhere. It should be under this share.
Click that one. Oh, stop share right there. It's the red on the bottom right here.
Oh, this one over here. Good, thank you. Somebody has eyes that see these things. Okay, now let's move on in our budget, which I think I got to get my agenda back up. It should be Denise's delinquency report, correct?
Correct.
Okay,
Okay, I'm happy to report we have 0 delinquencies.
that's a good number.
That's a great number. And we
I-
have 7 accounts with past due fines in a total of $832.
Okay, thank you, and that's great work. But I don't know how you're going to improve, on continuous improvement. So we need a manager's report, please.
Sure. Administrative, AC access, rental applications, owner concerns. Our website, we have 332 residents enrolled. Emergency contacts, 297. Insurance deck pages, 292. 4 which are expired, waiting for the updated policy. We have 300 main valve pictures received. We have 198 consent forms received. Owners in compliance, 289. Vendors on site this month, Elite Lawn Pros, Turner Pest Control, Dana Fire, Pinter's Drywall. We had no parking issues. Building 1 and 2, no issues. Building 3, we had a PIV valve repaired and was completed. There was a roof leak reported in Building 3. Proform's roofing was out yesterday, and the owner reported to Andy today that it was still there. So we're waiting for them to come out. They think they did cork around with a lightning rod. They said that they thought it was coming from there. So obviously that wasn't the case. So we're waiting to see what's going to happen tomorrow. Building 4, we have a radio signal issue. Dana Fire has addressed at no cost to the association. Building 5, no issues. Building 6, Andy went in the elevator room sometime last week and it was so hot in there. And since then, we got a vent and tried to get some airflow in that elevator room. We put a fan in there. And since doing that, the elevator has not gone down. So we think that could be a problem. And I was explaining to Andy when I first started working in Artisan, all of the panels in the elevator room were all open. And I think that's the reason why, because they're closed and they want some airflow in there. So I think that's what could be the case. So we're going to do it in building 2 as well, and see what happens. So fingers crossed that is what maybe was contributing to our elevator in building 6, giving us issues. Building 7, drywall repair completed due to a sprinkler head leak in the unit. I believe the owners were very, very happy. Quinton's Drywall is very, very good at what he does, very clean. So that all went out perfect. This was the lady who I had a conversation with between 1 and 4 in the morning, and she was very appreciative of that. Building 8, no issues. Community activity, normal monthly maintenance, weekly light check, monthly elevator inspection, AC door codes changed, breezeway lights inspected, elevator tracks cleaned. All AC lines have been cleaned as of today. I've ordered 124 fire extinguisher boxes. They're the pull station boxes. If you see the boxes next to the garage with a little white hammer, they are failing. They're just so brittle. They're falling apart, and Monday can only fix them with, so much. So before we get them inspected again, we just went ahead, and they will start to be installed starting in building 1 this week. And that was 124 that we have on site for them. Landscape and installation, the dead bushes, the golden mounds have all been completed and installed. Trees have started to be installed on my side of Celebration where my office is. We're waiting on 10 that are on back order. So these 8 has been installed already. Car wash, dreaded car wash. The car wash computer and the way it's connected to the car wash, there's something wrong because we don't have software for that computer. We never have had it. So that's the issue. We don't have a disk. So the tower of the computer for the car wash was given a problem, saying there was a disk error. And I spoke to the IT guy. He said, that computer is so old. He said you couldn't even pull it off there if you wanted to. So I'm working with Coleman, who is the manufacturer of Splash, the car wash Splash, where we bought it from. And that was where the original one came from in 2011, I think it was. So right now, if you swipe your card and press the button, the car wash will work. So I cannot give any new owners or any new cards because I can't program them. So that's the only issue we have right now. So Jason is looking into the part that we need along with me with O'Hannon's in Texas. So that's what's going on with the car wash, but it is usable for those who have cards right now. Windows. I was told by Osceola Windows and Doors on Thursday of last week, and I'm still waiting for information that the windows that have been put in to units up to now are going to be discontinued. So that's going to be an issue for us. So I've asked for the specs on the windows that the manufacturers are now swapping over to. So then I can, apparently he's saying it's just a name. And I said, well, we're still going to have to get just the name approved by Crella. We can't just, because they will come out and inspect. And I have to give a letter every time someone wants new windows to say the specs are all correct. And I cannot do that if they're not. So I'm working on that with Osceola. I did email Autumn, who is the owner, today. So hopefully tomorrow I'll have the specs and we'll see what the difference really is. I just worry about the owners that have done. We've got about 28 owners in our community who's already replaced windows. If there's any issues moving forward, we'll, with Osceola Windows and Doors, be able to help our owners. But I'm working on that. And if I have any more information, I'll let you guys know. Front door painting. I've been working on trying to get a vendor to give me some quotes to paint our red doors. The only person who's got back to me, and actually only got back to me today, was Gleason, and he's the gentleman who did our paint in 21. The cost to paint the door, sand, prime, and paint is $95 per door. which I think is a really good price. But if the door is in a really bad shape that it has to be stripped, it will be an extra $75. Now, I do recall back in maybe in Building 7, there was quite a few people got their door where it was completely taken off the hinges, sanded down. And I know back then it was $275. So this price of as much as it could be, $170, I think is a great deal. He's the only one who's got back to me. So I would like to ask him about the balcony issues that we're having with the wood. So he's going to give me a call tomorrow and I can get some information and pass that along also. Office activity, Estaples completed 2. Transfer fees received 2. Questionnaire fee is 0. Rush fee 1 at a total of $900. We have 58 units rented, 9 which are vacant. I think we could be coming down where we may qualify for FHA. If because a few people who have renters who have left their units that are now selling, and we were so close to that number for FHA, I think that we may be able to get there if these owners, if we don't get like 10 more renters all of a sudden. But working on that also. We have 12 units, which was a big jump from last month. We have 6 additional units from last month that have up for sale. I know a couple of units went on up for sale this past weekend, and within 2 days they had a contract. So they're moving. Our units are not really sitting unless you want an absorbent amount of money that they're not worth it. But anyway, we're doing good. We have 7 units sold year to date, and all our accounts are current, coded correctly. And that's the end of my report.
Thank you. Are there any questions about Denise?
I have a question, Denise. Can you check with Gleason if he's going to check the patios? If he could check, and how much it would be to do the doors on the patios also? Because I know some of them.
Yeah, that's what I meant. The whole balcony, the doors,
Okay.
and the pillars,
Okay.
the side, yeah, all of that with the nectar paint, that color. I'm going to
Okay.
ask him to check all of that. Yeah.
Any more questions?
I can't.
Do we approve a manager's report? Except,
Actually, I move that we approve the delinquency report and the manager's report.
accept them really, right? I mean,
Accept them,
yeah,
yes.
they're not our report. Okay. A second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those none. Okay, old business, and Denise will have to help with some of these. So the Dynafier repairs, Denise, are we done with them,
Yeah, we're all done. All our repairs are done. Yeah.
including the PIV valve?
Yeah,
That's-
that was finished. That was finished on Friday.
So they're done. We don't expect any new major things from them this year.
I can't see into the future, unfortunately. I don't know what I'm going to wake up tomorrow and find out, or tonight at 1 o'clock in the morning. Who knows?
Unless, great, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Who
I mean,
knows?
routine things are taken care of.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, thank you. And you told us about the front doors. So you have a set of, so let's talk about what we're going to do. The other person that people recommended has not chosen to respond. Let's put it that way.
Correct.
So I think we should make a motion. I don't know if we really need it because it's in repair and maintenance, to just tell Denise to go ahead and hire GTM to do those 13 doors unless the other vendor comes in like tomorrow afternoon.
I
Yeah,
agree.
I agree
think
with
the
that.
price seems very
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah.
Any comments from other board members?
Sounds good.
Okay, that's a motion, so we need a second for it, I guess.
Is that the motion? I second the motion.
Yeah, the motion was that Denise should hire GTM
Yep.
to do those.
I have a question about that. So
Okay,
is it only 13 doors that they're going to be doing?
We have got
Yeah.
a couple came in. We do have a couple that come in this week, more than that. And I've only got actually pictures. I know we requested pictures from owners. I've only got 3 units that have sent me pictures. Oh, wait, sorry, I take that back, 4.
the red doors, I didn't give you the pictures? Nancy gave me 13 pictures. I thought I forwarded them to you.
Do you-
No, I didn't get them. If you could get me them, that would be great.
Also, my question is do owners know that if there's something wrong with their red doors, they need to report that to you so that we can get that included if need be?
I went and looked at all of the red doors in every single building. And since this was only for the ones that had the significant peeling, not little door dings and things like that. And I took pictures of all of them and sent them to Tom, just
Who apparently didn't send them to Denise, although I thought I did.
and I mean,
I
and
didn't get, no.
almost exclusively, though not entirely, in one, was it one or two buildings, 3 and 4?
I remember 3.
I think, yeah, maybe 4 had a couple.
Okay.
And there was the rest of the buildings, it was just, people just had door dings, the usual wear and tear sort of thing. But the peeling from the sun, it looked like one building had just, somebody done a terrible job of painting the doors in the beginning. Because,
Okay,
Those are the ones we plan to do.
and I will send those along to you,
Yeah,
Denise.
I'm sorry.
thank
That's
you.
fine.
Thank you, Nancy.
Okay, now the next thing is in the newsletter, if we approve it. It's,
I don't think we voted because I asked a question, but
oh, I'm sorry. Okay, all in favor now?
I,
Opposed? Okay. The next thing is going to be in the newsletter if we approve the newsletter. We are asking owners, and I know that Lon sent us something and another owner sent us something about what's on their balcony that they think is a problem. And Denise said she's going to have GTM try and help us understand what it would take to fix those problems. And we don't know. Well, we know the problems are there. We know some of them is wood in contact with the concrete. We know some of it might be that blue tape stayed on so long that some paint came off when they took it off. But we do have them. And if you just notify Denise for making a list, then we'll do the same thing. We get a price from somebody. At least GTM is responsive and most likely approve getting them fixed, because in our documents, outside stuff is the association's responsibility. So that's more a status update, I guess. But we want to make sure that everybody agrees that's how we're proceeding, asking the owners. It's in the newsletter. I think Denise will send out an email a few days after the newsletter to remind them that it's there and please notify us. That's all we can do unless we see it ourselves.
Yeah, it's like a good idea.
And Denise told us about the landscaping, so they are working on it. Just, I didn't see it because it's not over. We ran out of trees.
Yeah, he did. He ran out of trees, and then I actually know a place down here towards St. Cloud, Vanderpool's nursery, and it was actually Kim over there who actually ordered out the trees for him, so that worked out. They should be here Friday, so they should go in Friday or Monday.
Yay, I'll get to see them.
They smell so good.
Good. Lightning protection, Neil found some useful information for us. So Neil, could you tell us what you sent us in the email to all the owners, know where we're going with lightning protection?
Yeah, so just as a reminder, a couple of weeks ago, Tom and Andy and I went around with a lightning protection company, and we found a lot of things were interesting. We saw inside attics. We saw what we think are the ground cables for the ESE terminals we have, the big UFOs on the top of the sticks. We think we found those ground cables, and we saw a lot of little cables connected to that main ground cable. And it looked as though there was some attempt made to install the little Franklin type antennas, the 3-foot little skinny rods are at the gutter area or so, in some buildings, and it looks like there are also some that may have been removed. So the gentleman that was with us said that they could do a complete inspection if we wanted to, but in the meantime, we found that a company called All South Lightning Protection out of Tampa were the people that put something in back in 2005, 2006. And I spoke to them the other day, and they said that the owner said I didn't speak to him directly, but the project manager said that the owner recalls our buildings and that All South was called in to do some retrofitting or some supplemental fitting of stuff. And so um, we still really don't know exactly how it got to the shape it is now, or what the scope of work of All South really was, and if they were just supplementing who did the original with the UFOs. So we're still not, we don't have all the facts, but All South said they would also come in and do an inspection of each building, and she sent me a quote for $895 per building, where they would go and inspect to make to see if they're properly grounded, if they're in working order. I think that I think what they'll find, Tom, what we saw wires disconnected, we saw little terminals disconnected. So I think they may find something like that. And I would say before we ask for an inspection, I need to spend more time with the All South owner who recalls doing work here, and what does he actually recall doing, and why was he doing it? Why did somebody decide they needed to have some sort of supplemental work done on what we had? So we still need to do a little bit of that. I also want to I want to get back to my I thought we had paperwork that showed um, add-ons to the contract back in the original construction drawings. I remember seeing notes in the file about putting in the lightning protection. So I want to see if we can find more information that way too, and I just don't have access to that right this moment. But what I'm intending, I sent a note to All South, to the woman that sent me the quote, and said, well, we're not quite ready for that. I'll let you know if we are. But in the meantime, can we get with Ron, the owner, and see exactly what he remembers? Because I said we have a lot of questions about, it's not just a simple matter of coming in and looking at a system that may be complete. It's a matter of, what are they even looking at? Do they even know what they're coming to look at? If they were to show up and say, hey, wait a minute, we put on 500 of these little antennas, where are they? And then we'd need to know what happened to them, since if they're not here. So we're still digging. We're getting closer. I mean, we know the people that did some work, and they're saying that, and we also know that we have the serial numbers for the UFO systems. I'm going to quit saying that, for the ESE systems. We have the serial numbers for each of the buildings, and that was acknowledged by. I forgot who the other contractor was that said yes, they were installed and they had the dates and stuff, but they didn't do the installation. So I'd like to still find out who did that original installation, because we don't have that. At first we thought All South did it, but it sounds like All South is saying all they did was put in some supplemental work. So there's still some digging to go, but I think, we're getting closer. And I think before we waste a lot of money, I mean, I don't think inspections will do us a lot of good right this moment.
Well, if the inspections, oh, sorry, Neil, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Recommendations for what they would do to fix it. That's what we really need to know.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And that's what
Yeah.
the company we talked to said they would do that. They haven't gotten back to us. I think it's more complicated than they expected. And
Yeah, I
I'll
think so too.
follow up with them, but I didn't want them to give us a quick answer that was wrong.
Well, and the other thing, I think personally, I think it'd be wise to have All South, if we're going to do the inspections, we ought to have All South do it. They installed it.
Yeah.
Let them tell us what they found and what they know about it. So it's like I say, it's $800, $900 a building, let's say, so $7,200 to do the inspection. It's not a heck of a lot of money, and we'll be a lot further along than we are right now. And we can still do research into how we got where we are today while they're doing the inspection.
Yeah. And my other concern is the budget process, right? If this costs $5 million, we know we're not going to do it anytime soon. If
Right.
it comes in at something that we have some money in building R&M this year and could put in the rest of it next year, we might actually be able to do this and make it a little safer here.
Yeah. Well, if I'll send the quote over I'll send it to the board. I just got it this afternoon. I'll forward it to the board, and um, I would feel comfortable recommending doing the inspection while we continue to do research into where, how we got to where we are today. Not sure we'll ever find out why. The other thing that I think is important to note that these inspections are uh, for certification purposes are required annually. So, we would have to, it's a gift that'll keep on giving. So if once we start doing inspections, we're going to want to do them every year and
Well,
budget for that.
7,000 a
So,
year, you
sorry.
think? You think it'll be 7,000 a year then?
I think it'll, yeah, I mean, till they raise prices, yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Well,
who
that's
knows
good.
I mean, $900, $895 a building is what All South is asking. I think that other fellow that we talked to, he was saying something like 600 a building, but again, they have no skin in the game, so I don't know. I'd rather have somebody with skin in the game that was involved be here and have to explain themselves.
Well, I was thinking we'd make a motion saying that contingent on the proposal from All South for inspections being complete and as represented, that we would approve going ahead. Are you saying that we might not want to do that?
I was only saying that we could do more research before we do the inspection, because here's what's going to happen. They'll come out and do the inspection and they'll say, here are all the problems. And at that
Well,
point, we'll argue about why are they there?
No,
But
we can't
that's
do that. Can
yeah.
they tell us what they think it would take to fix them though? Because that's
Yeah,
what.
I mean, I'll tell you what, I would recommend that we go ahead and have All South do the inspection. There's a real good reason too, is that they're getting into the real heavy period because we're getting into, the bad weather season and they're getting busy with their inspections. So if we don't book it soon, they may not be able to do it until next year or next season. So it's probably a good idea to do it.
Well, then
So,
I'd like to make a motion that we book, I believe that was All South
Yes,
for $395 a building. Is that correct?
yes, that's.
$895, yeah.
$895 a building, and to inspect the buildings and give us their report on what's missing and what needs to be done to correct that.
Yes, I'd second that motion.
Okay, any other discussion?
I think it needs to, if we can, Neil, and thanks so much for getting in touch with them. You're a detective and a half, boy. If you could ask them, or at least craft into the $895 a building, that it's not only they're going to tell us what's wrong with them, but also what it would take to fix it.
Well, it says recommendations.
Yeah, that's right. Well, let me see exactly what her quote says. It says they will inspect all conductors and all system components, measure resistance of the grounding electrodes, report our findings and any deficiencies, and review the main electric rooms to locate electric, water, and steel bonds. That's just all the bonding that happens along all those things. It says no materials included, just inspection and reporting. They're not including any upgrades of the existing systems or down leads. Their quotation, they're saying it includes only rooftop inspection, but they also say they're going into electric rooms. I asked her to clarify that. I said I think you might end up going in attics, couple attics, to find out where some of these leads are. But she's she has not responded. I sent that just at like 2 o'clock.
Yeah, and in that, I didn't see anything specifically that said they were going to put recommendations on how to fix it. It was basically telling us what's wrong with it.
Recommendations for needed restoration or
It
repairs.
says
I didn't hear that.
report our findings and any deficiencies. So you're saying the follow-up recommendations for the deficiencies?
Just make sure that you don't get the reports back and they just tell us everything's broken, but don't give us an idea of what. The other thing too is interesting. First two things, 21 years, you said it was 2005 that All South did the work.
That's what they said, yeah.
So that's 21 years ago. I mean, they may not have records of that still, but if they do, instead of just going off the owner's recollection, maybe they could search old databases.
That's how I started with them. I asked them
Yeah.
about any records that they had of the scope of work or the installation or documentation of installation. And, I mean, it was the first call. So they may.
Yeah, but 2005, interesting. First of all, it's interesting that they were doing a retrofit that early. And
Oh, that's the construction. They're
Yeah,
probably
right.
doing construction.
Yeah, during construction, but why retrofit during construction?
Exactly. I mean, that
Plus-
was my question too.
And then all the buildings weren't built then. Did they come back out again and do the other ones or?
Yes, I
2000?
think so.
Is that what it
'Cause
was?
They said it was 2005, 2006 they did the work. That's why I'm saying I'm talking to someone, a young person who's a project manager. I need to talk to the whiskered old guy that owns the place, who recalls the
like us.
buildings, and since he's the owner, maybe the more, the further along we get here, I'll get more access to him to
Yeah.
find the information out.
That's great, Neil.
So did we agree that we're gonna move forward and along with the inspection and request that the inspection include the recommended repairs and quote?
Yes.
Yes.
Those repairs-
Well, I don't know if they'll give us quotes. I don't know if we want to go. They might be able to give us a broad estimate, but let's see. Let's see how far they're willing to go for that price, because she didn't say they'd include quotes.
Right.
Yeah, but isn't it to their benefit to do that? I mean, they've done all the
Sure.
inspections, they've
Yeah.
done all the work, so it would be their benefit to give us quotes.
I agree.
Yeah, and
It would be.
Lana's question. Wait, you got to come up here. I got complaints by email that nobody can hear you.
Yeah, but it seems like, having been in business for years, doing quotes, that if I went out and investigated a project, I would be very happy to provide a quote. And I think they should be as well.
I think-
And there shouldn't be an extra cost to that, because it's their benefit
Yeah.
Right.
to do the business, right? So I think they should give a quote.
Yeah.
And if they balk at it, I would go someplace else.
But we haven't found, we've been looking for the someplace else for 3 or 4 years now, Neil.
Yeah.
We finally found these guys.
They're not going to balk at it. They'll be glad to. The only thing so this is the thing my experience is in my business life is that whenever you go back to try and find something that isn't the way it's supposed to be, and you go back to the original person, there's a lot of defensiveness. There's a lot of fear that you're getting ready. You're setting them up for a lawsuit. So it takes a little bit of relationship building to get to the point where they're willing to open up on you. And that's we're not there yet. I haven't even taken the guy out to lunch yet.
And there's no fear doing these inspections could red tag us or anything with an insurance company if they came
No,
forward?
no, there's no requirements for us to have this system. And insurance probably doesn't even know we have them.
Okay.
So,
But we, the owners, would like to know we have protection. Yeah, okay, so we should
Yes.
vote on that, just to make sure. So,
Okay.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And thanks, Neil
Thank you, everybody.
Yep.
and Tom.
Okay. Now, this is Nancy. Rules changes for video doorbells and protection of sprinklers. You can give us a status update.
Okay, status is, well, there's a draft for both of those rules. The Covenants Committee is going to be meeting, I believe that is next Tuesday, to talk about any rule changes that, or updates that need to be made for clarity for the committee and for the owners, really. And that we were going to bring forward all of those to be presented to the board and the community as a whole. And that's where we are at this point.
So to do it once for the rest of the year instead of every month.
And yes,
Yeah.
yes, instead of having, yes, to have one package that we can all look at the same time and talk about and agree upon. And then Denise will, of course, have to update everything.
So for now, people like Lon and Diane that, well, we gave them permission, but that have to do something else that doesn't fit our rules. If it looks like theirs, it looks like other things we've talked about, we're just gonna say, because all those first floor units, none of them can comply with the rule as written.
That's right.
Yeah.
It looks like it blends in.
Looks good.
Yeah.
I went by and looked at it. It's amazing.
Okay, so that's them. Okay, Neil, do you have anything to say about the June newsletter?
I would recommend that I make a motion that we approve that really well-written and complete newsletter.
Hey,
I second the great newsletter. That's amazing. Thanks, Nancy.
Okay, all in favor?
aye.
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 Opposed, none. Okay, new business. We have, and this is the first one I've seen since I've been on the board twice now, an art review request for a new balcony door install by one of our owners. And in our system, it has to go to the ARC committee, which is really the members of the covenants committee first.
Mhm.
And so that is scheduled for the 23rd.
Yes, there's a second meeting after the one to discuss the rules, because it's about a specific owner, and they can be then available for that. And so there are quite a few things to consider. This is a request to completely change their balcony doors from our 3-door system to 4 doors, with 2 French doors and side lights. And that's something that the art committee will have to consider. And that's not really, so Ray did we show that on camera, on that camera over there? Is that the one that everybody can see?
Oh,
Because that picture isn't quite right, because the side lights are actually quite narrow. The 2 center doors are 36-inch doors, and then
oh, can't share.
the side lights are
There's some.
half-size doors.
Yeah,
And so they,
close. I don't know if it'll be in focus.
That's good. Right there's good.
Then.
so the question is whether or not something like that could be ever be approved in a condominium,
Unless we did all 302 of them.
because it's my understanding. So I'm actually going to go down and talk to CROA too, to see if they have anything specific on that. Now that there's CROA has an office,
Yeah.
and the lady's back from vacation, I'm back, so we should be able to have a
The
meeting.
floor's beautiful. We'll find out if people think it fits.
Yeah.
It's not my decision.
Yep. And then it
I'd-
will come
I'd
back.
be surprised I'd be surprised if CROA says okay, because we had such a hard time with the windows that really were conformed to what we had. So, and this is totally different, and I can't see them saying okay to having something that's totally different than what we already have. But please go and check with them.
I
might
did speak to CROA. I did speak to Angelina down there. And, I told her our process, what we were doing. She said everything, all I'm going to say is everything has to be in uniform. Everything.
Exactly.
So,
But we have to go through the process.
yeah,
Person-
we go
What?
through the process, but I'm just telling you what she said to me. That's all. Information.
I would like to point out that on the window ARC form for CROA, it specifically states under condominium, which is on the final page 3, windows must be consistent building by building.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I did have a thought process. If this window didn't get approved, if they had the same 3 doors, but 2 of them opened, and then it looked the same from the outside, would that be approved? I don't know. It was just something I contemplated, if that would meet their same needs, but that's not what's being considered at this point.
Okay. Now we'll go to our last piece of new business, which I want to explain the process that we went through. If I can find it. That's it. Yeah. Now we go back to that. Where's the share? Share things here. Share. This one. Why is this little button down here? Maybe to tell me what I'm sharing. Okay. So our attorney that we've had since Arlene became president is in Boca, and I've never actually met him. We had a couple Zoom meetings, and we see all these local attorneys. So we're thinking about, well, what did we, and this is me, but also I involved Ray because he's the vice president. What do we want an attorney to be? Board certified in condominium and plan development law. Those are the cream of the crop. I mean, there's tens of thousands of attorneys, but not all of them are good at condominiums. I believe they should be involved in Orlando condominium and HOA exposition as a presenter, because when you present things, you get better at it. Because people ask you questions and you have to be able to answer them. Be responsive. agrees that legal opinions should be clearly written with explanations and references in a form that may be shared with owners. This is a controversial request. Most attorneys say, basically, we, the board, if they give us advice, have the right to waive that privilege. And you wouldn't want to waive it if you think it's for litigation. But almost all the things we ask them are not in anticipation of litigation. So, and an owner needs, I think an owner has a right to know. If we say, well, here's what our attorneys say, let them see it. So we talk to people about that and have a reasonable cost. So we looked at 4 attorneys, 3 of who are local, so we could talk to them directly. We have our current attorney, and we compared him against the criteria. We had Elizabeth, now it's Pate or Latham. She calls by Beth Pate. She was Becker. They were our law firm until about 2018, I think. And then they weren't, and we talked to her. Then there's 2 people that we routinely see at condominium things. Alan, we can't pronounce his last name, Schwartzside or something, from K. Bender Raybaum. His office is in Winter Springs, but they're frankly another statewide, and so is Becker actually, a statewide firm that most of their offices are south of here. And then Eric Wynot from the Wynot Law Firm in Longwood, that's it. He's a one place lawyer. And we looked at costs for sure. So to go to Becker or K. Bender Raybaum, they'll require an annual retainer. Well, Becker does, K. Bender doesn't. But there's also upfront document review costs. Wynot and Polikoff don't have those. And they're going to cost at least $1,000, maybe more. The lowest hourly rates are for Wynot and Polikoff, as I understand it. The other firms have rates $50 to $70 an hour higher. I don't think they're $50 to $70 an hour better. So only Wynot and K. Bender are both local and involved in presenting at the Orlando Condo and HOA Expo. And I like talking to them. When they're presenting at a place, you can talk to them and ask them questions, not written legal opinions, but you can get a feel for how things might go before you start down a path. And we can't do that right now. So all of the firms except Wynot also have associate attorneys, which I didn't think much about, but Ray says this is at least a question in his mind. So those people could do the work. Now, the boss is still responsible. The boss is always responsible, who signs off on it, but so you don't always know who's going to do.
We lost him again.
What
Yep.
is that? Not
Okay.
a, he has a paralegal, that's what it is. Oops, internet's unstable again.
No, we're good. Go ahead.
Okay, so I recommend Wynot. He's least cost. He meets all of our qualifications. I know that Arlene has a different opinion.
Are you done? Or
Yeah.
let me know when you're done.
Oh, I think, wait, I did have another page. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, you're right. Since I said it out. So what I would like us to do is consider a resolution to approve engaging Wynot on an hourly basis. There's no upfront costs. He actually, when we went to see him, he knew we were coming, obviously. He said, I've pulled all your documents and read them, so I know, what your rules are or what your declaration is, what your bylaws are, things like that, which was impressive to me. We want to ask him for, this is another thing we need sometime. We told the ceiling fan task force that we'd have to have a vote of the owners to have ceiling fans, but I asked Denise, it's not in any written things that we've ever received. So I want a written opinion from somebody about why you need a vote to approve installation of ceiling fans. You still got to go through PROA, still got to go through all the things in the task force. And let's see what he comes up with. That doesn't mean that we have to disengage from Polikoff. All the law firms told us, including some the one that we dropped, No, people hire us, they drop us. It's just part of the business of being a law firm. And so you can always go back. So, but I want there to be discussion.
I have to say that I like the idea that we don't have to disengage and that we can get some legal advice from the firm that you're recommending here. And if we like it, we can continue down that path. And if not, we can stay with the attorney that we have or make it even a different decision at that time.
Right. And, you know, Tom and I went and we talked to three of them. It's interesting. We had our questions, and during the discussion, a couple of them sort of talked us out of them, and for interesting things that we hadn't thought of. One of the attorneys there, to me, it felt as if they were moving towards, which is a big market in Florida right now, towards more of construction. And since we're just coming out of that, that's not, you
We
know,
never want to do that again.
no. So she was they were saying it as a positive, and to us it was like, no, negative. But you know, the using my criteria, which was condo certified, which all four were, and there were other ones that looked good too, but they weren't condo certified, so we just eliminated them with that. But condo certified, you know, local presence, Orlando area, you know, got to think about the hourly rate. Another thing that came up, which I deal with a lot in my business, but I didn't realize it was going to be so much in this business, is two of them. We said, now, will you be the person we're dealing with? Well, you know, sometimes, but then it may go to a junior attorney, it could go to a paralegal. And you really want to know who you're talking to. I don't want to, I mean, if we're considering, and that person was $395 an hour for them, getting down in the hundred and
It's
something.
really good.
And we didn't really get to pick who got it. It was like, you know, it could kind of, their positive was, well, you might end up with someone who's $175 an hour. It's like, well, we kind of like to keep it at you know, attorney representation. So they were, you know, we kind of eliminated a couple of them for that. The three contenders in my mind were Eric Wynot, for what Tom said, Alan Churchwell, he's $395 an hour, but I got the feeling we'd kind of get moved down the trough a little bit. And then Ryan, Ryan's only we get him directly, he's $325 an hour, but he's based in Fort Lauderdale. And I know with
Boca, I thought. Wait,
is it Boca? Well,
He's based in Boca.
Boca, okay, he's in Boca. And you know, I know professionals, you want a local, in my mind, you want a local doctor, local dentist, local real estate agent. You know, real estate agents can practice all over Florida, but you wouldn't want somebody from St. Augustine listing your house in Orlando. So my thought was Eric, why not? He pulled our documents, which, you know, that was impressive. Nobody else did that. He also had a lot to say, which was good. He's local. He met all the boxes. And also, you know, Ryan's still there.
Are you done now?
What's that?
Are you done?
Oh, Arlene, go right ahead.
Interrupt anybody.
I'm done
So
enough.
just waiting till you're all done. Yes.
I'm done enough. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you why we should not have why not. Because why not is just a one-man office. And there are times when we need more information than he can possibly give us. I think that Ryan Polyakov has been there for us for 8 years. He got us through all the contracts we needed to get through with the restoration. He has an office of people that can do various different things. I don't understand why a local attorney is so important. I understand for a doctor or a dentist, but an attorney you can talk to just the way we're talking right here. I don't need to be sitting in his office. I can be sitting on Zoom, just like we've been doing for the last 8 years. He has always responded immediately. He's been on vacation and responded to me immediately. There have been times when I have sent him emails and he has not charged us for those emails or calls. They were quick calls. He never sent us a bill for them. To change an attorney now, for what reason, I can't possibly understand. I know our former board member, Ron Saylor, sent you all an email, and I really hesitate.
Actually.
I really hesitate to read it into the record, but I'll be happy to do that.
As long as we read the second one.
What's the second one?
Well,
I don't have the second one, but I had the first one, and the second one says about the same thing that the first one does. There is absolutely, and Rand is an attorney.
I think if he wanted to make a statement, he could have come in or come
He
online.
could not come in. Believe me, had he wanted to be there, but he had a previous engagement with somebody out of town. He would have been there. Believe me when I tell you he would have been there because he's just as upset about this whole situation as I am. He has the same beliefs that I have, and you all are aware of what my beliefs are and what his
Yeah,
beliefs
appreciate
are.
it.
You know,
And I
Arlene,
wait, I didn't interrupt anybody when anybody else was talking. So
Right.
if you let me finish, I'll tell you when I'm finished, and then you can tell me whatever you think. Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
But he has done everything he could do for us. He knows our rules, he knows our bylaws, and he has always been there for us. I'm sure that Neil could attest to that. The two new board members have not had an experience with him. You don't really know him. You don't really know what he can do and what he can't do. I absolutely, totally, 100, 1000% disagree with doing this. It would be a huge mistake. Neil, you want to weigh in on this?
that's
Yeah, a
an
little bit, a
Right.
little bit.
Neil talked.
mistake
Did
between
Nan-
attorney,
Wait.
really.
Neil hasn't spoken at all.
I haven't spoken at all.
Oh, okay.
I tried to speak. Arlene interrupted Ray, and I would like to
No,
say.
I didn't interrupt Ray. I asked him if he was
Don't worry,
finished.
it's done.
He told me he was finished. I would have not gone had he not been finished. Go ahead.
The recommendation here is to try this attorney, and we're not closing the door on apparently your favored attorney. So, and Rand Saylor's favorite attorney. We're not closing that door. That's open. So I don't know why you're getting so hot about this issue. It's a business issue.
Because I don't believe there's any reason to change. I
Well,
think we have an attorney. I think we have a really good attorney. Rand thinks we have a really good attorney. I respect what Rand says being an attorney. And I think there are some ulterior motives by members of this board to change the attorney for whatever reason that they choose to.
A question as why to the
Nancy.
president. Just ask him why.
Why?
That's-
Why are they not happy? Well, I think they're not happy because they didn't like the response that they got about the sprinklers. I think they went against the response that they got about the sprinklers. I think there are personal issues here between some of the board members and me, and I think that that's the reason. I think some of the board members here would love to get rid of everything that I did in the last 8 years and start all over again. That's my belief. That's my belief. I'm
Arlene,
entitled to my belief.
no, that is
And
not.
Neil hasn't spoken yet. I'd love to hear what Neil has to say.
Neil, speak.
Well, I had a couple of things. I really respect Ryan, and I also respect the comments that Nancy made, and that it doesn't close the door to using anybody else. Although I kind of doubt once we start using somebody else, then anybody will go back to Ryan. But I don't understand. The thing I don't understand is that I wasn't asked to comment on the criteria for selecting an attorney. I've got years and years of attorney discussions, and I don't, the board wasn't sent those criteria to comment. And I personally, with Arlene, I don't believe that local means squat. I mean, with Zoom and everything else and telephone, we don't need to shake the guy's hand. And whether he presents at an expo or not, that just gives you an opportunity to talk to them once a year when you go to the expo, but it doesn't mean you're going to get good legal advice that way. I mean, it's a relationship building thing, and I understand that, but I disagree that local and being a presenter at an expo makes you a qualified attorney for what we need. And so when you take those, in my opinion, if you took those two things out, there's no reason to change. We have a low price, very responsive, highly qualified, proven expert in legal affairs. And the only issue that I see, the only issue I see is that a couple of his there seems to be some issue with a couple of his uh, recommendations. And the other thing too about attorneys is we don't have to take somebody's legal advice. There's no law that says that. We're at risk if we don't, depending on how serious the issue is. But we have to make the decisions we have to make, and we ask for advice. We get it, we take it, and we do what we want with it. But I personally don't see any reason to start over with somebody who, I don't care if they read our stuff or not. They don't know what's been happening here for the last 20 years. even 15 or 10, or in Ryan's case, 8. But again, I don't see the sense in changing. I appreciate the concept, well, we could try somebody and see what they do, but then what do you do when the two things that I think were the two issues that we're talking about, ceiling fans and maybe sprinkler heads, and now you get somebody else that has a different opinion. So now you have two attorneys with different opinions. Then what do we do? We're in no better position at that point. We're still forced to make a decision between two things. So I mean, I'm not married to any attorneys, but I don't have any. I've seen nothing that would make me think that we should change from what we have right now.
Okay.
Well, I just want to let you know that I was not brought into this. If you're thinking that I was, nobody asked me for criteria. I wasn't in any of the meetings, and I had the same notice that Neil, you had, and Arlene, you had. And I took a look at the presentation, and I like the fact that I think it's important to make sure that you are using the best attorney for your needs. One of the reasons that you do want to have a local attorney, and I worked in litigation on the other side my entire career, dealt with attorneys every day, my entire career. And one of the reasons you want your attorney to be local to where you're working is if they have to actually represent you in person, you're paying them by the hour to be there. You don't want somebody coming up from South Florida. That's one of the reasons. You do want to be able to meet with them. You do want to be able to have a relationship with your attorney. And I don't have a problem with trying this new attorney that's been suggested, as long as we're not closing the door on the other one. I think that this has become very contentious for its business. Trying new attorneys is not unusual in any industry. So I just think it doesn't need to be this contentious. It's open-ended. It's not the end of the world.
And I think it's just a difference of opinion, and we'll just have to agree to disagree. I've been in business 41 years. I always pick local professionals. CROA is an entity.
We're losing you.
Florida law office. The theme park area, the special rules that we have with, the celebration company. It's I think more than some of the other, it's just completely reasonable for a condo association to prefer a local attorney, in my mind. That may be something we have to agree to disagree on, but that's my thought.
So we do let people ask questions, and Diane had something she wanted to say.
Is Why Not a one-man show? In other words, say like we had a construction defect attorney that we worked with who was heavily involved in the case, and he had a stroke.
Yeah.
So if you engage the services of Why Not, life happens to people. What is in place for
Then we would hire another attorney, or keep Brian, who we already have.
Okay, but if you just went straight with him, is there anything in place?
No. Reevaluate the others and see who would be next.
Okay.
I mean, this is all part of a transition in my mind from, basically 20 years of litigation and construction, 15 years,
Right.
into,
Well, just as a normal question, like I run a business,
Exactly.
and it's not just me. I have another individual that can run the business if I cease to exist, without a lapse.
Right.
So just
Yeah,
that
but no,
kind of
that's
question.
a legitimate point.
Yeah.
In my business, both in state government and Bethlehem Steel all across the country, we always want a local counsel. Even in the state of Indiana, you don't just want your Indianapolis guy there. If you're litigating something in Gary, you want your Gary, Indiana guy there. There's all this, and we don't want to litigate anything. So actually,
We haven't litigated in how many years? How many times has Ryan gone to court? How many times?
don't know.
Never. There's no reason for it. And especially now, if we were going to litigate it all, we would be litigating when we had all those issues. We don't have any issues now. It's not a big deal. I mean, I know the three of you are going to vote because that's the way the three of you vote, and it's already a done deal. So just have the vote and let's move forward. And
Hey,
let's
Arlene, can I say one thing? Speaking for myself, I appreciate so much what you did when you were president and how you maneuvered us through the construction. So don't say that, we don't appreciate what you did. That is not true. I've agreed with a lot of what you said. I was on the board a year when it, was a board that maybe I was the director on, and I might have been the odd man out. And, I took your opinions into account and agreed with some of them and didn't agree with others. So no, we look into every single thing. I think it's just a difference of opinion, and not to, this is no disrespect, but the difference of opinion of if board members should be full-time residents or part-time. I feel they should be full-time residents, and I feel that the attorney should be local. I just like local representation. I know if somebody
So does
from
that mean I should not be on the board anymore, is what you're saying?
Or me.
No, I said, you know what I mean? I think I think that that's important to be there in the area. I know if somebody asked me to sell their house in Boca Raton, I would refer them either to somebody else or
Totally different story, Ray. We're talking about oranges and apples. I mean, seriously, we're talking about things that are different. Yes, if you're selling something in a community that you know about, it's easier to sell it than if you don't know about it. This has nothing to do with that. This has nothing to do with me being there full time. I've been there full time for almost 20 years now, pretty much. And this is the first time, for whatever reason, I'm not. But I think that I have a good enough handle on that community after the last 8 years, that better than a lot of you on the board right now, that I can tell you that I think that I can contribute as much as any one of you can. If I thought I couldn't, I would have resigned, but I chose not to. And I really believe that the three of you make decisions together, because that has been the last 6 months, and that's exactly what's happening. And it's not.
Arlene, you're saying that.
That's my feeling. That's
Are
how
you
I
saying
feel.
that when I was director for a year, and it was you and Rand and Neil
Is
and
this part of this discussion or not?
Well, I'm just
We don't
saying,
wanna
I mean,
have a debate on it.
I'm just saying it's part and parcel to any vote that's going to be 3-2 is going to have somebody not happy. And we've made, our case on why they've got to be condo certified, local, check their rate. Do we have direct attorney access, and do they focus on day-to-day condo work? And Ryan's doing good choice.
We vote on this? Is there any reason why we can't vote on it? As we know what the vote's going to be. Is there anybody else that would like
Arlene,
to?
are you asking us?
I know, I'm asking, Ray.
No.
I'm asking-
I want to say, can I say one thing? Just one thing.
Sure.
You're asking me to change my mind when I don't believe in what you're saying. It's the
I'm
only
not- no,
option you're going to accept.
I'm giving you facts. Right now, I'm asking
And I
you,
appreciate
I'm
it.
asking you to call the vote. If there's any reason not to call the vote, if anybody else wants to speak on it, please have them speak on it. If not, let's call the vote, please.
I did what you said.
No, we don't.
I told you specifically that I had no prior notice of this. I got the same notice you and Neil did, and I did not lie. And I don't like the implication that
I believe you, Nancy, and I believe that that was a very big mistake. And I would have never done that, because when we hired Ryan, I had Ryan come meet everybody. We had a Zoom meeting, everybody met him, and the board decided to hire him. That's the right way to do it. It was not done properly this way.
Okay,
Thank
let's have the vote. Then we have one more thing, partially related to this. So the motion, that's on here. We're going to engage the Why Not Law Firm and try and form a question to get a written opinion on the ceiling fans, one way or another. It is written. So that's the motion. Is there a second?
Yeah, a second.
Okay, let's have a vote. I think all in favor,
I will say aye to that.
Yeah, I.
Ray and Tom, and all opposed, I presume, but we got to see.
I oppose vehemently.
I oppose it.
Okay, so it is 3-2 in the minutes. Now, Rand's letter, which you referred to, asked us to release the opinion from Ryan. I have no trouble with that. I think we should have released all the opinions from Ryan. So, but the attorneys that we talked to said, you're waiving privilege and an individual board member cannot waive privilege. So we need a vote of the board if we want to waive privilege and give the opinion to well, actually to anybody, Rand or anybody else. And I certainly have no trouble with that because I think we should be extremely transparent. And I guess my question or my proposal would be that we, since there's not any anticipation of litigation on anything going on, that we just make all the opinions that we have available to anybody that asks for them. But I can't do it by myself. We need a vote of at least the majority of the board.
like to-
We haven't talked about this.
I'd like to clarify, you're talking about all past decisions.
Yeah, all legal opinions that we have. Well, that we know of. And I think there was 12 that Denise was able to find.
But not future opinions.
Well, no, I
I
guess
don't
we have to
think
do
we
each,
can
we can't do a future opinion. We don't know what it is, but my inclination would be we should release it. But if it's in anticipation of litigation, there was like 2 or 3 reasons that they told me that you should not do it. But this isn't one of them. We have an opinion. It says something. My opinion of what it says is different than what Arlene's opinion of what it says is, and that's fine. And I have no trouble with Rand having a copy of it. Or
I
anybody.
think that we should do it individually on an individual basis. If that letter is something that an owner has asked to see and we vote to have him or her have it, I think that they should have it. I think it should be on an individual basis depending on the letter. And when a person asks for it, I don't think that we should just arbitrarily send all our letters to all our owners. I think that if a
Oh, but you can make them available without, why shouldn't they all be public? That's my question.
I don't
Only
know what's in them
one
because I don't know what's in them. If I would look at them and say, yes, okay,
Yeah.
that's okay. I think that this one would be okay because I know it's in it. But ones that I haven't looked at, there might be something in it that shouldn't be. And I
Mhm.
wouldn't want to release it if it shouldn't be. So why is there a problem with inspecting them, making sure that they're okay to be released, and then at that point vote to release them?
I,
One
I-
example might be personnel issues. Sorry, Nancy. If there's some sort of legal issue about personnel issues or something else that we'd want to keep confidential, I don't think we should just throw that into the bucket and say, well, you told us we'd see everything. Well, we may not want everything to be seen.
None of
I
the
agree with
opinions
Arlene.
aware exists for personnel, but we certainly can have Denise send them, get them in a package and send them to you for your perusal to see why they wouldn't be, why the owner shouldn't be allowed to see them. Okay, so do we want to say as a majority of the board that we will release this one to Rand?
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I'm okay with that too.
2, 3.
Yeah.
I'm in favor. Okay, so we will do that. And we will prepare the other, hopefully, I didn't read it recently. It has the question with it, because you really need the question and the answer for the answer to make sense. So that is it. People from the owners can ask about any other issue that they want to talk about for 3 minutes. None here. Anybody online that has something to say? They're all muted. Okay, I'm presuming there's nothing because I don't see anything. So then we need a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
So-
Move adjourned.
second.
Okay, thank you. See you next month. Bye. Now I have the recording, which hopefully I can do better at than, I'm on the right place. No.